Okay, so welcome back to my set review series. Today, we will be learning all about radical equations. So ano nga ba ang isang radical na equation, no? So pag sinabi nating radical, ang una nating naiisip ay yung square root, no? And tama 'yon. Kasi ang definition lang natin ng radical equation ay kahit anong equation, no, that contains a variable inside a radical, no? So kahit ano. So for example, square root of x is equal to 2, isang radical equation 'yan. Pero take note of this, pero x is equal to square root of 2, kahit na meron kang square root diyan, ito ay hindi isang radical equation. Kasi ang definition natin ng radical equation ay dapat yung variable yung may square root or may root or may radical. So for example, pwede rin cube root of x plus 3 is equal to 10. Yan, radical equation yan. Then again, kunyari, we say square root ng x plus 2 squared is equal to 20. Ito ay also hindi isang radical equation. Okay? Kasi kapag sinimplify natin yung x plus 2 squared, then square root nun, that becomes just x plus 2, then magiging equal to 20, and we can easily solve that. Okay? So you should also take note na kapag ka yung x plus 2 squared na to, di ba? So square root ng x plus 2 squared, if you solve this, hindi ito just equal to x plus 2. Okay? Yan ang equal sa absolute value ng x plus 2. Okay? Yan yung tamang way. Just in this case na nangyari na yung x plus 2 ay equal sa absolute value ng x plus 2. Okay? So again, in radical equations, just like rational expressions, meron tayong idea ng domain, no? And just like yung idea ng domains sa mga rational expressions, ito ay basically all values na kayang i-take ng acceptable, no, by the radical expression. So, for example, ito ang kailangan nyo i-take note. Kapag ka yung index, okay, if yung index nung radical ay even, okay, ay even, then yung value inside ng radical should be, okay, value inside the radical should be greater than or equal to 0. Okay? Then, if index is odd, then ito, yung value inside, okay, I'll just shorten it to value inside, can be any value. Okay? So I'll show you what this means, no? So let's try to solve this, no? So kunyari, let's look for the domain of square root of x minus 2 plus square root of x plus 3 is equal to 5. So yung domain, we just check yung domain ng each na mga radicals natin. So we check the domain of this and check the domain of this. Okay? So, ano nga ba yung domain ng square root of x minus 2? Okay? So, yung square root ng x minus 2, since square root siya, okay, should be always greater than or equal to 0. And yung square root ng x plus 3, ganun din, no? Square root of x plus 3 should be greater than or equal to 0. Meaning, dapat x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 0 or x should be greater than or equal to 2. And then, ito naman, x plus 3 should be greater than or equal to 0. X is greater than or equal to negative 3. Okay, so now meron tayong dalawang range. Tama? Isang x is greater than 2, greater than or equal to 2, isang greater than or equal to negative 3. And in radical equations, yung domain, okay, the domain is simply, okay, is simply the intersection of the domains ng parts nung rational expressions. Okay, what do I mean by that? So basically, kukunin lang natin yung intersection ng x is greater than 2 and x is greater than 2 negative 3. Okay? And as we know, or as we have learned in our previous videos, ang intersection nito ay x is greater than or equal to 2. Okay? So, yung x is greater than or equal to 2, ito na ngayon yung domain nung original natin na radical equation na square root of x minus 2 plus square root of x plus 3 is equal to 5. Okay? So, paano naman kung add, no? Paano naman kung add? So, let's get this simple example. Kunyari, cube root ng x minus 1 is equal to negative 1. Okay? So, ang domain nito ay simply all real numbers. Kasi, kapag ka-add, again, pagka-add siya, any value. Okay? Any value. So, now, let's move to solving, no? On how to solve radical equations, no? Solve. Ito yung importante. So, what do we do is, we first isolate a radical on one side. And then, we raise both sides to the power of the radical. So, why do we do this? Ginagawa natin to kasi gusto natin tanggalin yung radical sign. Okay? And then, next is we just simplify. Okay? So, let's do an example. Mas madali yung maintindihan kapag may example. So, example 1. Let's do a simple one. For example, square root ng 2x minus 3 is equal to negative 1. Okay? So, if you look at this, yung left-hand side natin ay already isang radical. And then yung right-hand side natin ay hindi radical. So, maganda na to. Okay? Then, our next step is to raise both sides of the equation to the sign or to the value ng index ng radical. So, in this case, yung value nito ay 2. So, we just raise both sides to 2. Okay? So, we get now 2x minus 3 is equal to 1. And we simplify this to be 2x is equal to 4 and x is equal to 2. Okay? So, siguro may iba sa inyo na nagtataka. Paano pwedeng maging negative ang nasa loob ng isang radical? Okay? So, kapag ka naisip nyo yun, congrats, may natutunan kayo in this lecture. Kasi, kung x is equal to 2, kung mapapansin nyo, if x is equal to 2, pag plinug in natin do sa original expression, so square root of 2 times 2 minus 3, tama? Ito ay equal sa square root of 1, which is equal to 1. Okay? Hindi siya equal to plus and minus 1. Okay? So, ang conclusion natin here is that yung solution sa equation na to, na square root of 2x minus 3 is equal to minus 1, is a null set or empty set. Kasi nga, since yung square root is never negative. Okay? So, yun ay medyo isang trick question. Okay? So, ito, gawa tayo ng medyo seryoso na ngayon. So, let's do example 2. Again, simple example, square root ng x plus 5 is minus 2 is equal to 0. So yung idea natin is again, kailangan magka-isolate tayo ng isang radical to one side. So that will be square root of x plus 5 is equal to 2. Okay, linipat lang natin. And then now we raise both sides to 2. Okay, so we get x plus 5 is equal to 4. Okay, so if we square both sides, you get this expression. And now we can solve for x to be equal to minus 1. So it's a good idea to always check yung solution natin, no? So we plug back in yung nakuha natin na sagot na x is equal to minus 1. So square root of minus 1 plus 5 minus 2 is equal to 0. So minus 1 plus 5 is square root of 4 minus 2 is equal to 0. And this is 2 minus 2 is equal to 0, which is correct. So sure tayo na yung x is equal to minus 1 ay tamang sagot. Or yan yung solution natin dito. So, paano naman gawin nating medyo mas complicated, no? Complicated. Let's say example 3. Let's say meron tayong dalawang radical expression, no? So, for example, square root ng 11 minus x minus square root ng x plus 6 is equal to 3. Okay? So, una nating maisip is to, again, isolate a radical to one side of the expression. So, hindi importante kahit alin. Basta maka-isolate lang tayo ng isa. Okay? So, in this case, kunyari, i-isolate natin yung square root of 11 minus x. So, ilipat natin sa kabila yung square root of x plus 6. We get square root of 11 minus x is equal to 3 plus square root of x plus 6. So, step 2 is we raise both sides of the equation to the index. Okay? So, yung index na ito ay 2. So, we square both sides. Okay? So let's square both sides. So, we get now 11 minus x is equal to 9 plus 6 square root of x plus 6 plus x plus 6. Okay? So, paano nakuha to? Expand this using FOIL. Okay? Now, we try to simplify na, no? So, we simplify, we get negative 4 minus 2x is equal to 6 square root of x plus 6, no? So, linipat ko lang lahat ng x dito sa left-hand side and lahat ng constant sa left-hand side. And we get this. And kung mapapansin nyo, we are back to step 1, no? So, we have one side na puro radical lang and then isang side na walang radical. So we can further simplify this into by dividing both sides by 2, no? So we can get negative 2 minus x is equal to 3 square root of x plus 6. And again, bumalik tayo sa original natin na ginagawa wherein may isang side tayo na may puro radical and then may isang side tayo na walang radical. So what we do is we just raise to the index again. So we just square both sides. Tama. So again, we expand this. This will become 4 plus 4x plus x squared. Ito ay magiging 3 squared times square root of x plus 6 squared, which is 9 times x plus 6. Okay? And again, we just simplify, no? We just simplify. This will become 9x plus 54 is equal to x squared plus 4x plus 4. And if we combine like terms, no? So we can get x squared minus 5x minus 50 is equal to 0. And now we know how to solve this kasi ito ay isang quadratic equation lang. No? So if we can factor this to x minus 10 and x plus 5 is equal to 0. And as you know, we can solve for x here. X can be equal to 10 or x could be equal to negative 5. And then, we check again, no? It's a good idea to check yung solution natin. So, let's check our solution. So, i-plug in natin yung x is equal to 10 sa original natin na expression, no? So, square root of 11 minus x, so that will become 11 minus 10 minus square root ng 10 plus 6 is equal to 3. So this will become square root of 1 minus square root of 16. This will become 1 minus 4, which is not equal to 3, no? Is equal to minus 3. So, meaning yung x is equal to 10 ay hindi tama. Okay? So, we call that, again, extraneous solution. So, let's try naman yung minus 5. Okay? Let's try negative 5. So, square root ng 11 minus negative 5 minus square root ng negative 5 plus 6 is equal to 3. So 11 minus minus 5, that will become 11 plus 5, which is square root of 16, minus square root ng negative 5 plus 6, so that will become square root of 1, is equal to 3. And this will become 4 minus 1, which is equal to 3, which is correct. So meaning, yung talagang solution lang natin dito is x is equal to minus 5. Okay? So, x is equal to 10 is extraneous. And yung talagang solution lang natin is x is equal to negative 5. Okay? So today, we have learned all about radical equations. Ano ang isang radical equation at ano ang hindi isang radical equation. Ano yung domain at paano kumuha ng domain ng isang radical equation. And paano tayo mag-solve ng mga radical equations. I hope to see you again next time.